How long has it been since you truly liked the woman looking back at you in the mirror? I hear this so often from women in their 50s and 60s. As I've gotten older, I feel shorter, heavier, and somehow nothing I wear looks right anymore. And I understand that feeling. The moment you stand in front of your closet, trying on top after top, dress after dress, and then sigh. Everything used to look good on me. Now, nothing feels right. But here's what I want you to know. Most of the time, the problem isn't your body. It's how your clothes treat your body. As a fashion designer who has worked with hundreds of women over 50, I've seen this again and again. Some women barely reach 5 feet tall, yet they walk into a room with grace and confidence that turns every head. Others are taller, but somehow look smaller, less defined, almost hidden inside their clothes. The difference isn't in their height or measurements. It's in their proportions and their understanding of themselves. After 50, our bodies naturally change. Our shoulders soften, our hips may become fuller, and yes, sometimes we lose a little height. But real beauty doesn't disappear. It just gets covered up by old habits, outdated advice, and clothes we keep wearing out of comfort, not confidence. Today, I want to reopen that door with you. We're going to talk about 7 common mistakes that can make women look shorter or heavier than they are. And more importantly, how to correct each one so your clothes celebrate your proportions instead of fighting them. Because here's what I truly believe. You don't need to be taller than anyone else. You just need to stand a little taller than the woman you were yesterday. And let your clothes tell the story of your confidence, your grace, and the beauty that's uniquely yours. Mistake #1, dressing by size, not by proportion. Have you ever bought a top that was exactly your size, yet somehow it just didn't look right? I hear this all the time from my clients, women in their 50s, 60s, even 70s. They tell me, I've been a size medium my whole life, but lately nothing seems to flatter me anymore. And I smile because I know what's really happening. I tell them, that little number on your clothing tag doesn't define your beauty, proportion does. A true story from my fitting room. One afternoon, my longtime client Linda came to my studio. She's 59, about 5'1", with soft shoulders and a naturally full waist. She brought a beautiful midi dress in her usual size, small, but when she tried it on, she frowned. "It fits," she said, "but somehow I look shorter and heavier." I took a look, and she was right. The waistline sat too low, the skirt covered most of her calves, and the wide neckline made her shoulders appear slouched. So I made 2 tiny adjustments, lifted the waistline up by just over an inch and shortened the hem by 2. When Linda turned back to the mirror, she gasped and then laughed. She looked taller, leaner, radiant. No new dress, no weight loss, just better proportions. She turned to me and said, "I wish someone had told me this sooner. Proportion matters more than size. Here's the truth. Your size only tells you if something fits, not if it flatters. Most clothes are designed around models who are 5'7" or taller. So when women of average or petite height wear those same designs, the visual lines often land in the wrong places. For example, a tunic that hits mid-thigh might look stunning on a tall woman, but on someone who's 5'1", it splits the body right in half, making you appear shorter and boxier. Instead, a top that ends just at the hip, paired with high-waisted pants, creates the illusion of endless legs without you needing to be an inch taller. Think of your outfit like a painting. A beautiful painting isn't about the size of the frame, it's about composition. Your body is no different. One rule I always teach my clients is the 1/3-2/3 rule. If your outfit divides your body into 2 equal halves, half top, half bottom, you'll look shorter. But when you create a 1/3 to 2/3 ratio, the eye naturally follows the longer line, making your silhouette appear taller and more balanced. Here's how you can apply it easily. Choose shorter tops or lightly tuck them in to let the bottom half of your outfit take up 2/3 of the look. End jackets or cardigans right around your hip bone. Use a slim belt to raise your waistline slightly above your natural waist. That's not cheating, that's visual design. It's fashion that works with your body, not against it. From a designer's perspective. When I design for women over 50, I don't just measure bust, waist, and hips. I study shoulder slope, torso length, leg-to-body ratio, even how fabric moves with their toe. Why? Because the human eye reads proportion before it registers actual size. Before someone realizes you're 5'1", their brain has already decided whether your silhouette feels balanced. That's why petite women like Linda can walk into a room and seem taller, more elegant, more confident, because their clothes are in perfect proportion to them. 3 easy ways to fix your proportions at home. Look at yourself in a full-length mirror. Don't just focus on your top half. Notice where your outfit cuts your body. If your top and bottom split you evenly, try tucking your shirt or switching to a shorter top. Lift your waistline with a belt. A slim belt worn just above your belly button instantly makes your legs look longer and your midsection slimmer. Adjust hemlines. Pants should lightly graze the top of your foot. Skirts should stop just above or below the knee, never right at the widest part of your calf. The emotion behind size. For many women, the number on a clothing label carries emotional weight. Size 8, size 10, size medium, those numbers feel like a part of who we used to be. So when they change, it can feel like we're losing a piece of our identity. But here's the truth. Your body has carried you through decades of life, through love, laughter, children, work. And change, it hasn't fallen apart. It has evolved. And when you dress for the woman you are now, not the size you once were, you're saying to yourself, I honor who I've become. That's not just style, that's growth. That's beauty in motion. And once you start dressing for proportion, you'll realize there's another subtle thing that can make or break your height illusion: color. Many women unknowingly choose contrasting colors that divide their body into chunks, making them look shorter and heavier. In the next part, we'll uncover mistake #2 using colors that visually cut your body in half. And I'll show you how to use harmony, tone, and contrast to elongate your figure and look effortlessly taller. No heels required. Mistake #2, colors that cut your body in half and how to fix it with seamless tones. Did you know that just one misplaced color contrast can make you look up to 2 inches shorter without you even realizing it? A story, when color turns against you. One crisp autumn afternoon, Barbara, 62, full of warmth and energy, walked into my studio with a bright smile. She wore dark blue jeans, a light beige sweater, and a long black cardigan. Simple, elegant, classic, or so it seemed. But as she stood in front of the mirror, I immediately saw what was happening. Her outfit divided her body into 3 strong color blocks: a light top, dark pants, and a long black layer slicing her shape vertically and horizontally. The result: Barbara, who is 5'3", suddenly looked closer to 5'1". She looked at her reflection and said softly, "That's strange. I always thought darker colors make me look slimmer, but why do I look shorter?" Why color can visually shrink you? It's simple. The human eye reacts to color blocks before it registers body shape. When there's too much contrast, light against dark, the eye stops at each break instead of gliding smoothly from head to toe. And when that flow is interrupted, your body looks shorter and less balanced. For example, a light top with dark pants creates a strong horizontal line at your waist, making your legs look shorter. A dark top with light pants makes your hips appear wider. A light skirt with dark shoes breaks the visual line at your ankles, cutting off your height. Tiny details, yes, but they make a huge difference. The same woman can appear taller or shorter simply by adjusting her color flow. The solution: create a color flow. When I style women over 50, I don't just choose pretty colors, I create movement. The goal is to let the eye travel smoothly from top to bottom without getting stuck. Here are 3 simple ways to do that. 1. Monochrome dressing, same color family. This doesn't mean wearing one exact color head to toe. It means choosing shades within the same family. Think navy plus denim blue plus soft gray blue, light beige plus warm tan plus creamy ivory, charcoal plus slate plus pale silver. This creates a soft, elongated line, elegant, modern, and effortlessly slimming. 2. Vertical color flow. If you love contrast, let it run vertically, not across your body. For instance, wear matching top and bottom in one color, then add an open blazer or long cardigan in a complementary tone. The open front creates a long vertical line that draws the eye up and down, making you appear taller. 3. Connect your shoes, pants, and skin tone. One of the most overlooked tricks: match your shoes to your pants or your skin tone. Dark pants with dark shoes, legs look longer. A nude heel with bare legs or a beige skirt, seamless. But a dark shoe against light skin or light pants instantly cuts your height visually. A story. Let's change the color. When I explained this to Barbara, she hesitated. Really, I always wear light tops and dark bottoms to look slimmer. I smiled and handed her a new outfit: wide leg pants and soft top, a silky caramel blouse, and a cardigan in a slightly deeper tone of brown. She slipped it on, looked in the mirror, and went silent for a few seconds. Then she laughed. "Oh my gosh, I look taller." I grinned. "You didn't grow, Barbara, you just stopped breaking yourself into pieces. The colors are finally working with you, not against you." Color combinations that elongate your body. Warm earth tones, beige, caramel, olive, sand, perfect for women with warm or medium skin tones. Cool neutrals, ash gray, smoky blue, lilac gray, charcoal, elegant and timeless. Soft pastels, blush pink, ivory, light taupe, fresh and youthful without being loud. And if you love prints, choose small vertical patterns that move the eye upward. Avoid large flowers or horizontal stripes that visually widen your frame. Why women over 50 should soften their colors. It's not about age, it's about contrast. As our hair, skin, and eyes lighten with time, harsh or high-contrast colors can overpower us and make the face look tired. Softer tones, muted, warm, or gently cool, bring harmony and glow to the skin. Color is light, and light is energy. At this stage of life, you don't need to shout to be seen, you just need to shine quietly. That kind of elegance never fades. A small note on black. Many women tell me, "I love black, it hides everything." And I always say, black isn't the enemy, it just needs a new partner. A black dress can be stunning if it's balanced with nude shoes, gold jewelry, or a touch of light near your face. Everything can be beautiful when color and proportion tell the right story. Now that you know how to let color flow naturally with your shape, you're ready for the next step, texture. Because sometimes it's not the color that betrays us, but the fabric itself. In part 4, we'll explore mistake #3, choosing fabrics that add bulk, and I'll show you how to find fabrics with the perfect drape, softness, and sheen. So every step you take feels light, fluid, and full of quiet confidence. Mistake #3, choosing heavy fabrics that weigh you down and how to lighten up with every step. You don't have to lose a pound to look lighter. Sometimes it's as simple as changing what your clothes are made of. Story. She thought she'd gained weight, but it was just the fabric. One spring morning, Nancy, 58, a former art teacher, came to see me for a styling session. She sighed, "I don't get it, I haven't gained weight, but lately when I look in the mirror, I just look bigger, heavier, even in my old clothes." The moment she walked in, I saw it. Thick linen pants, a chunky knit sweater, a wool coat. Each piece was beautiful on its own, but together they created a visual bulk. I smiled and said, "Nancy, maybe it's not your body that changed, maybe it's your fabrics." Why fabric changes everything. Fabric doesn't just cover your body, it shapes how light moves across it. Stiff fabric reflects light harshly, creating boxy, rigid shapes. Thick fabric holds its form, hiding your natural curves. Rough textures absorb light, making your frame look heavier. But fabrics with drape and flow let light glide smoothly over your silhouette. They move with you, not against you, and instantly make your body look softer, lighter, and more graceful. The draping harmony rule. When I design for women over 50, I always think in terms of draping harmony, the balance between fabric and the natural movement of the body. At this stage of life, the body might not be as firm, but it carries a quiet grace that deserves to be echoed in what you wear. So your clothes should feel like an extension of that grace, soft, fluid, and easy. Here are some of my favorite go-to fabrics for mature beauty. Crepe, silk crepe, crepe de chine, light, flowing, and never clings. Rayon, viscose or modal, smooth, breathable, and naturally drapey. Blended linen with rayon or cotton keeps the texture but flows better than pure linen. Fine knit, soft stretch that hugs gently without gripping. The golden rule. Your fabric should move with you, not fight you. Story #2. The dress that lifted 5 years off my shoulders. I'll never forget working with Linda, 61, a flower lover who adored her thick cotton dresses. She told me, "I feel like my clothes are swallowing me." So we swapped her usual dress for a silk blend version in the same print, lighter, softer, and with natural drape. When she stepped out, everyone gasped. She twirled once in front of the mirror, and the hem floated around her like a sigh. Then she said, laughing, "I feel like I just shed 5 years of heaviness." She wasn't suddenly younger, she was simply lighter in her own energy. The psychology of fabric. When I worked in New York, I noticed something interesting. Women who wear soft, drapey fabrics often carry themselves with ease and openness. Those who wear stiff, structured materials tend to armor themselves, almost unconsciously. So if you feel like your clothes are fighting you, maybe they are. At 50 or 60, you've earned peace. Your clothes should be allies, not armor. They should breathe with you, move with you, and let you feel at home in your own skin. Studio-tested tips for fabric harmony. Check it in natural light. Step outside the dressing room. Watch how the fabric falls and reflects. If it glides down softly and doesn't puff at the hips or waist, that's your fabric. Touch and feel. Pull it gently, then let it fall. Does it bounce back softly? That's a good sign. Balance structure with softness. If you love a structured jacket, pair it with a flowy blouse or drapey pants. Like music, your outfit needs both high and low notes to feel harmonious. Elegance isn't about stiffness, it's about movement. Many women tell me, I wear structured clothes because they look polished. But true elegance doesn't come from rigidity. It comes from how your clothes move with you. A silk blouse that softly frames your shoulders, swaying as you walk, that's elegance. You don't need to hold a shape. You just need to let the fabric move the way you breathe. One final thought. Stand in front of the mirror, close your eyes, then open them slowly. Ask yourself, do I feel light or do I feel weighed down? The answer isn't in your size or your color palette. It's in the fabric. If what you're wearing makes you smile, if it makes you want to move, that's the one. Now that you know how to let fabrics lift your silhouette instead of holding it down, let's talk about another subtle factor that can change your entire look, lines and details. In Part 5, we'll uncover mistake #4, ignoring visual pathways, and how the right seams, cuts, and accessories can guide the eye, elongate your frame, and reveal the quiet confidence that's been yours all along. Mistake #4, ignoring visual lines, when details can make or break your height. Not everyone who's short looks short. Sometimes it's just that the eye gets stuck halfway down the body. And that can change completely with one smart line or detail. Story. Her height didn't change, her visual line did. I once met Margaret, 63, an Italian-American woman full of warmth and color. She loved her bold floral dresses, they were her signature. But when she came to see me, she sighed. I'm 5'2", but every time I wear these floral prints, people tell me I look even smaller. She was wearing a bright red floral dress with big blooms and a wide belt at the waist. Lovely on its own, but too many visual stops. Your eye couldn't decide where to go. The belt, the neckline, the flowers, the horizontal seam at the hips. I smiled and said, Margaret, it's not that you're short. It's just that people's eyes never get a chance to travel up. They get stuck in the middle. So what are visual lines? In design, we call them lines of sight, the invisible paths your eyes follow when looking at an outfit. If those lines move vertically, you look taller and leaner. If they move horizontally, your frame appears shorter and wider. Learning to guide the viewer's eye is one of the most powerful and underrated tools in dressing well, especially for women under 5'5". 3 types of visual lines that instantly make you look taller. 1. Vertical lines built into your clothing. Clothes with vertical seams, button plackets, center creases, or open front jackets all create an elongating effect. For example, an open blazer forms 2 long lines from shoulder to hip, guiding the eye downward. Pants with a front crease slim and lengthen the legs. Dresses with a center seam or a gentle V-neck open up vertical space. A quick tip, choose necklines that draw the eye up, V-necks, cowl necks, or soft scoop necks. They frame the face and elongate the upper body naturally. 2. Vertical lines from accessories. Accessories are tiny but mighty. Try this. A long pendant necklace creates a natural line down your torso. A light scarf draped loosely on both sides keeps the eye moving up and down. A slim crossbody bag with a longer strap adds a subtle diagonal that lengthens the frame. And what to avoid? Wide belts that cut you in half. Horizontal stripes or contrasting shoes that stop the visual flow at the ankle. Every horizontal break is a stop sign for the eye, and each stop makes you appear shorter. 3. Vertical flow from posture and layering. Your posture itself is a visual line. When you stand tall, shoulders relaxed, chin slightly lifted, your body becomes a graceful, vertical form. But when you hunch or layer bulky clothes, that line disappears. Here's a layering trick. Keep the inner layer light or neutral. Make the outer layer slightly darker. Leave your jacket or cardigan open to create a natural vertical frame down the center. That simple open line can add visual height instantly. Back to Margaret. I had her try something new. A navy silk dress with a soft V-neck, a center seam, and a subtle floral print running downward. No wide belt, just a slim drawstring at the waist, same color as the dress. When she looked in the mirror, she was silent for a moment. Then she smiled. I can't believe just one seam makes such a difference. She hadn't grown an inch, but her entire presence had lifted. The eye was now drawn upward, following the line of the fabric and light, landing naturally on her bright, confident face. The science behind it. According to studies on visual perception, it takes the brain only 1/10 of a second to estimate someone's height, and nearly 70% of that impression comes from how our eyes are guided vertically or blocked horizontally. So no, you don't need to gain height. You just need to let light, seams, and lines do the work for you. A few quick height tricks you can try today. Choose smaller prints or gentle vertical patterns. Let long coats fall straight, not flared or puffed. Avoid large pockets or horizontal ruffles near the hips. Pick thin belts in a matching color, not wide ones that cut across your waist. And always remember what I tell my clients. Don't dress to hide, dress to direct the eye where you want it to go. If you want people to notice your face, wear an open neckline or a bright accessory near it. If you want to elongate your legs, keep your skirt, tights, and shoes in similar tones. A story I'll never forget. I once worked with a group of women in Boston, all over 55. One of them said, laughing, "I used to think I had to lose weight to look taller. Now I just know where to send people's eyes." That moment stayed with me. Because for women at this stage of life, fashion isn't about changing the body, it's about owning the light and the line. Now that you know how to guide the eye with seams, details, and accessories, there's one final piece left, and it has nothing to do with clothes. In part 6, we'll talk about the biggest mistake of all, believing that style is only about the outside, when it's actually the language of self-respect and presence. The final mistake, thinking style is only about clothes when it's actually the language of presence. We change our clothes all the time, but how often do we change the way we see ourselves? Sometimes that's all it takes for the world to see us differently too. Susan's story, finding herself in the mirror again. I met Susan, 62, at a style workshop in Seattle. She was warm, kind, and had spent over 30 years as a nurse. That day, she said something that made the whole room go quiet. "I used to know exactly who I was, but after 60, I'm not so sure anymore." Since retiring, she'd stopped paying attention to what she wore, mostly gray sweaters, beige pants, flat shoes, hair tied back. Practical, but not her. "I look in the mirror," she told me, "and I can't find the woman who used to love deep wine-red lipstick." I walked over, picked up a red silk scarf, and gently draped it around her neck. The room gasped. Not because the color made her look younger, but because it brought the light back into her eyes. I smiled and said, "You don't need to be who you were before, Susan. You just need to show up again as who you are today." Style isn't just an outfit, it's how you say, "I'm still here." So many women over 50 tell me, "Why bother dressing up anymore? The kids are grown. My career's behind me. Who am I trying to impress?" And I always say, the best reason to dress well is you. Style isn't about impressing others, it's the language of presence. When you choose a top that makes you feel confident, you're saying, "I care about myself." When you put on earrings that make you feel soft and feminine, you're saying, "I'm still alive, I still feel." And when you look in the mirror and smile, you're telling the world, "I'm still here, and I'm beautiful in this moment at this age." Confidence begins with how you see yourself. One of my clients, Patricia, 57, once told me, "I hate taking photos now, I don't look like I used to." I handed her a small mirror and said, "Look again, not to compare, but to recognize that you're still here." Our faces change, our bodies shift, but our presence, the way we stand, speak, and smile, that doesn't fade. It just needs a little light, a little color, and a little kindness to shine again. You don't have to keep up with fashion, you're leading a new generation. The world is changing. More designers, magazines, and brands are finally celebrating women in their 50s and 60s. No longer past their prime, but in their prime. You are part of a generation rewriting the rules. You've raised families, built careers, loved deeply, and lived fully. No one knows authenticity better than you. At this stage, style isn't about looking younger. It's about looking real, free, confident, entirely yourself. Style is a love letter to the life you've lived. Every wrinkle tells a story. Every laugh line marks a moment of joy. And every time you choose something to wear that makes you smile, you're saying, "Thank you to the body that's carried you through it all." Fashion doesn't hide age. It honors it by saying, "This age, this body, this moment, they're proof of a life well lived." So dress not to apologize, but to celebrate. Dress not to blend in, but to be seen. Dress so that when you walk into a room, someone looks at you and thinks, "She looks free. She looks radiant. She looks like herself." From hiding to shining. Remember how we started this series, talking about the little style mistakes that can make women look shorter or heavier. Now you see the real shift isn't just in clothes. It's in how you tell your story through them. No body needs to be hidden. It only needs to be understood, respected, and dressed with love. Because when you wear joy, when you wear you, people feel it before you even say a word. My message, and your invitation to the Bold After 50 journey. I want you to remember this. You don't need to change yourself to fit fashion. Fashion should change to tell your story. Every time you choose an outfit that feels true to you, you're rewriting what beauty after 50 means. If today's conversation resonated with you, join me and thousands of women like you on Bold After 50. It's more than a channel. It's a community where we talk about confidence, presence, and the fearless joy of aging with style. Because 50 isn't the time to fade back. It's the time to step forward, brighter and bolder than ever. Hit subscribe and come along. Each week, we'll explore simple ways to style, shine, and live beautifully, inside and out. In the end, style isn't just what you wear. It's how you show up in the world with an open heart, bright eyes, and the quiet pride of knowing you're still shining boldly, beautifully, and after 50. You, the woman of Bold After 50, are not small. You're simply stepping into the most radiant chapter of your life yet.